So it's finally been announced the Wednesday Night Wars have officially come to an end, or they are going to be officially coming to an end in the near future, because WWE has announced that NXT will be moving to Tuesday nights after WrestleMania. They've just sent out a press release stating that NXT will be moving to Tuesday nights beginning April 13th. Now, WWE and the USA Network have to date announced a multi-year extension for WWE NXT, which will move to Tuesday nights live on USA Network at 8/7 Central beginning April 13th. The new agreement for the live weekly 2-hour show furthers WWE and USA Network's nearly 3-decade-long relationship. This is what Francis Berwick, chairman of Entertainment Networks for NBC Universal, has said, quote, "We are incredibly proud of our 3-decade partnership with WWE, and in extending USA's NXT deal, we are further establishing our portfolio as an unrivaled home of quality WWE content. By transitioning NXT to a Tuesday time slot where WWE has performed well in the past, we are giving our passionate fan base more of what they love with back-to-back nights of exhilarating live programming." Now, this is what Triple H Paul Levesque, who of course is the WWE Executive Vice President, Global Talent Strategy and Development, and the executive producer of NXT, he has said, quote, "We are thrilled to continue WWE and NBC Universal's long-standing partnership with the extension of NXT on USA Network. The move to Tuesdays provides a new opportunity for us to grow the NXT brand and enables our partner USA Network to continue to build its strong portfolio of sports and entertainment programming." Now, since launching on the network in September 2019, NXT has lifted USA to rank among the top cable entertainment networks. These are WWE's words, so I'll give you my opinion in a second. In its regular Wednesday time slot. In 2020, the weekly block averaged 847,000 total viewers, and its special Tuesday episodes were even stronger, delivering gains of nearly plus 30% among the key 18 to 49 and 25 to 54 demographics. Certainly some interesting numbers WWE throwing out there. NXT is revolutionizing the world of sports entertainment with innovative styles from the trend-setting and unapologetic superstars featuring Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Io Shirai, Karrion Kross, Johnny Gargano, and Candice LeRae. The brand's diverse roster consists of elite athletes from NFL, collegiate and amateur sports, MMA, and international sports such as rugby, kushti, and kabaddi. It is also the birthplace of more than 80% of the current Raw and SmackDown roster, including Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, Bray Wyatt, Bianca Belair, The Street Profits, Riddle, and King Corbin. All new episodes will be available on demand in the United States exclusively on Peacock the day after airing on the USA Network. NXT will continue to emanate from the state-of-the-art Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando, Florida, which is, of course, located at the WWE Performance Center. So, what does this all mean? Well, it certainly isn't surprising. I think that's the first start. We've known that this has been coming for a couple of weeks now. It first was reported by a variety of different outlets that NXT would be moving to Tuesday nights after WrestleMania. WWE's internal calendar had listed the Black and Gold brand to be appearing on Tuesday nights going forward after WrestleMania. So in terms of the news, it's not surprising. Obviously, a plethora of other companies and other promotions have also been familiar of this. This is the reason why Impact Wrestling announced their move to Thursday nights only a few days ago. They wanted to get out ahead of the WWE announcement. They had heard from insiders in WWE, from people inside the industry, whatever, they had heard that NXT was going to be moving to Tuesdays, and obviously they knew, look, we can't compete with NXT, we can't compete with WWE, we're a smaller company, we need to, we just need to go in a different direction. We'll go on the other night where there isn't any pro wrestling, or certainly the competition is far less fierce, that being Thursday night. So that's what Impact Wrestling did, and that was smart. That was ultimately smart. So it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise. It brings, of course, the end to the Wednesday Night Wars, and I think now will probably be, or over the course of the next few weeks anyway, will be the time to now really fully reflect on what the Wednesday Night Wars were between AEW Dynamite and NXT, what it means going forward, and what it just means in terms of the landscape of professional wrestling. I think when it comes to the Wednesday Night Wars ending, obviously, in my opinion, this is a good thing. This is the good thing. Before the Wednesday Night Wars started, or when it was announced that AEW Dynamite would be on Wednesday, and then subsequently NXT would be moving to Wednesday on the USA Network in the same time slot, and you had these two wrestling shows going against each other for the first time since the Monday Night Wars, when it was Monday Night Raw and Monday Nitro in the late 90s between WWE and WCW, there was a lot of optimism. This was going to be the start of the big boom period for pro wrestling again. We were going to see pro wrestling hit the heights that it hit in the Monday Night Wars in the late 90s. We were going to see popularity surge. We were going to see great television ratings, we were going to see great viewership. And in reality, that didn't happen. If anything, the fact that we had two wrestling shows on at the same time, on the same night, on cable networks, it diluted the fan base, and it divided the fan base. What it meant was that whilst both shows, I would argue, have been successful, I wouldn't say that AEW Dynamite certainly isn't a failure, and I wouldn't say NXT on the USA Network is a failure because they wouldn't have extended the contract. What I would say is that putting them on in the same time slot obviously divided the fan base, and it diluted the fan base. And for better or for worse, and for reasons unbeknownst to everyone, the same amount of people roughly watch wrestling on a Wednesday night, irrespective of how many programs there are on. That number is about 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 million viewers. That's how many people watch pro wrestling live on a Wednesday. Ironically, it's pretty much the same number as what watches pro wrestling on a Monday on USA Network. That's 1.7, 1.8 million live viewers on the USA Network. So that fan base, that viewership base, pretty much just moves over to Wednesday nights. And when you have two programs on, this idea that competition is great for business, it is in terms of the quality of the content you're providing and the innovation and coming up with new ideas and coming up with unique programming, and in terms of talent outperforming the competition is absolutely best for business, and it obviously gives people an opportunity to work elsewhere and earn a living. That's the most important thing. In terms of driving up popularity, we just haven't seen that. We haven't seen that. The same amount of people pretty much are watching pro wrestling on a Wednesday night right now were then when the Wednesday Night Wars first started in sort of October 2019. It's the same. It pretty much is the same. And we've seen the evidence that having these two shows, having NXT on a Tuesday, having AEW Dynamite on a Wednesday, is beneficial for both shows. We've seen it at this point. We've seen the positives of it, and we've seen how beneficial it is for them both. When AEW was running unopposed last year on a Wednesday night, they drew over 1 million live viewers. It's one of the only times they have done it. They've done it, I mean, a handful of times at most, but the potential is there for them to do it. During those weeks, NXT was moved to Tuesday, those Super Tuesday shows, because of the NHL hockey playoffs. So NXT was moved to Tuesday, and NXT did some of the best ratings they've ever done on the USA Network on Tuesday. Why? Because they didn't have a competition, or at least the competition they had was Impact Wrestling, which of course isn't the level or strength or has the exposure of an AEW or an AEW Dynamite or the star power. So they did great numbers. I think it was something like, what was it, 800,000, more than 800,000 live viewers on the USA Network, and that was fantastic for them. And then once those Super Tuesday shows happened, I think everyone pretty much universally said, you know what, NXT needs to move to Tuesdays. If it didn't go up against, and I myself am included in this, if it didn't go up against AEW Dynamite, I would watch NXT far more regularly. I do my best to keep up with it. It's difficult though when you've got two shows on at the same time, and sometimes you don't even have the time to catch up because in a couple of days' time it's SmackDown, and then it's pay-per-views, or then it's Impact Plus events, and then next thing you know it's a new week of television. You've already got Raw and then Impact again, and then NXT and AEW, and it just the world of pro wrestling moves so quickly, doesn't it? That if you've got two shows going on at the same time, it's not as if you've got so much downtime you can watch it all. It becomes very, very challenging, very, very difficult. So I think moving to a night where they're not in competition with AEW and they're on their own is obviously beneficial for NXT, and it's beneficial for AEW Dynamite. When it comes to NXT's purpose on Wednesday nights anyway, I've not been shy about stating what I think NXT's purpose was on Wednesday nights. I think NXT's purpose originally wasn't to expand and the NXT brand and have a greater amount of exposure on the USA Network. That was possibly part of it. But the main reason that NXT was moved to Wednesday nights on the USA Network was to take viewers away from AEW. I mean, those are just the facts. Those are the facts. I think initially there was maybe a bit of optimism that, you know, we can have a good competition. They didn't know what AEW was. They certainly knew about the stars that they had at their disposal. They knew they had a Chris Jericho, a Kenny Omega, a Jon Moxley, a Cody Rhodes. They knew they had those big names. But they thought, well, maybe we'll see. That this is an unknown entity. This is an unknown company with not too much, you know, brand power or drawing power that we're aware of. We're still WWE. This might be a new brand in terms of NXT, but we're still WWE, and WWE draws well. I think in reality, if you look at it, NXT was always going to lose. Just look at the star power that AEW has, especially now. I mentioned those names. You've got your Chris Jericho, Christian Cage, The Big Show, Sting, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, the Lucha Brothers. I mean, the list goes on and on. John Moxley. And they've now started to create their own stars, whether it is like a Darby Allin, that are proving to draw well on their own as well. And if you weigh up that star power in comparison to NXT, who've got, your Finn Balor's, your Adam Cole's, Karrion Kross, they are fantastic talents, absolutely fantastic talents. But in reality, they're not these huge drawing names. I mean, the best way to put this, and this is the best way I've put it before, is that if Chris Jericho or John Moxley or Sting or Cody Rhodes or even stars like Miro, when they came over to AEW, when they were signed to WWE, or if they were to sign with WWE tomorrow, they wouldn't be put on NXT. They would be put on Raw or SmackDown. Why? Because they're bigger drawing stars. And that's the best way to look at it, that AEW just has fundamentally bigger stars and bigger draws. So they were always going to beat NXT. AEW was always going to beat NXT in that regard because they just have the bigger stars. They really do. That's not to say NXT is a bad program. I do think with the move to the USA Network, NXT has lost a bit of its identity. I think that's a fair criticism, and I think those in NXT would say that. They had a format that worked for them previously. When they were on the WWE Network, they were taped. They did bulk TV tapings. It was a 1-hour show. It flowed very quickly. It had a great pace to it. And it didn't matter about necessarily week-to-week storytelling, because people watched the episodes of NXT, but they were more focused on the takeovers. The takeovers were the big events, and the takeovers got obviously the big views. And I think some people, just watch takeover to takeover. They might watch the occasional NXT episode, but it didn't really matter as much. Now they moved to 2 hours, they had to fill more time, they had to do week-to-week storytelling, and they also had to do storytelling that could draw an audience, could draw a television audience. And I think because of that, they had to become more closely associated with the WWE style of producing television and producing stories, which isn't what NXT is. NXT felt so different to the traditional WWE method of Raw and SmackDown, but moving to the USA Network, they kind of had to alter their style, and I think that kind of lost a bit of NXT's identity because of that. And I think that's possibly a problem, but maybe moving to Tuesday with no competition, there isn't as much pressure to deliver these strong ratings, or to deliver a rating that beats AEW, or deliver a program that shocks people or draws people in so they're not watching AEW. It's the best move for everyone. It's the best move for everyone. And I know people that hate WWE and love AEW will crow and saying that AEW won the Wednesday Night Wars. To be honest, I don't even think they really started. They were done after the first few weeks. And I don't know if this is necessarily a victory for AEW or a loss for NXT. It's a win for pro wrestling fans. That's what we should be celebrating here. We shouldn't be celebrating that AEW won or NXT's in the mud and NXT's terrible. Triple H doesn't know what he's doing. Vince McMahon, he lost. It's the first time he's lost since Eric Bischoff. If you say that, it's apples to oranges. I don't even think they're comparable. What it is a win for pro wrestling fans. That's the most important thing, and it means that there are still different places, different promotions. There is competition where other pro wrestlers can go and other employees can go to earn a living, make a living, and make money during this period of time. And NXT is going to continue on the USA Network. You don't want to see it go to the WWE Network. You don't want to see them lose that contract. You don't want to see people in NXT lose their jobs, or superstars or talents lose their jobs because they couldn't make it on the USA Network. Nobody wants to see that. So this is a positive, I think, all round. It's a win for pro wrestling fans, as I mentioned. Wasn't surprising by any stretch of the imagination. I hope that because of this move back to Tuesday, NXT won't be as focused on what AEW is doing. There won't be the pressure to combat what AEW is doing. The constant comparisons to AEW can cease. And they can go back to finding their own personality. They can go back to finding their own identity once again. Because I think throughout the Wednesday Night Wars, that's the thing that's been lost the most. There have definitely been episodes of NXT or periods of time of NXT where I myself, as a viewer or as a fan, felt like this isn't the NXT I was watching or I fell in love with on the WWE Network. This feels like something different, and I'm not sure I like this new version of NXT. Hopefully, with the reduced pressure, with the reduced competition, they can go back to doing what they were good at, telling the stories in their own way, having their own unique identity, and not being so closely compared with AEW or just all of that toxicity on social media. Hopefully that will end as well, because I certainly haven't been a fan of that. I really don't care for people being so, I'm an NXT girl or guy, and I'm an AEW stan, and you can't like the other brand. You can like whatever you want. You can like multiple pro wrestling shows. You can like all of pro wrestling. You can be just a pro wrestling fan. You can also have criticisms, but you can also praise things and not have to be lambasted for it on social media because you've just shared your opinion. So hopefully some of that toxicity will close. I know it's social media, and I know that unfortunately with the world of social media today, that just, I mean, hoping that toxicity will disappear on social media is like hoping the sun won't come up tomorrow. I mean, it's impossible. Nevertheless, I think this is a good move. Not surprising. We expected the announcement any time, so it's been delivered today. NXT officially announces its move to Tuesday nights. But of course, as always, it's just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts on NXT officially moving to Tuesday nights, signing a multi-year extension with the USA Network? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll do my best to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys, talking about WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all things pro wrestling here on the channel. So be sure to get involved in the community. Drop a comment below. All opinions are welcome. If you haven't enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button too. Really does help us out here on YouTube, gut the rankings, and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now. Or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video, along with another video for you to watch. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or have you come across this video today. And I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.